sun's gone down, the moon is out, and this is where cameras either shine or completely fall apart. Tonight, we're taking 4 of the biggest flagship phones out after dark to see who actually delivers when the light is gone. We've got the OnePlus 15, the iPhone 17 Pro Max, Galaxy S25 Ultra, and the Pixel 10 Pro XL going head-to-head in a full night camera showdown to find out which one really owns low-light photography. Oh, and here's a massive shout-out to Mohammed, Rasi M, Otika, Steven, Mani, and the Lazy Soul for joining our Ultra tier. Thanks a lot for your support. If you also want to join the Versus family, just hit that join button down below. Hey, I'm Olive, your host here at Versus.com. For our camera comparisons, we always award points with the maximum number depending on the number of devices in the test. Since this comparison involves 4 devices, the maximum score for each category is 4. We'd also like to add that we always evaluate the photos and videos using a calibrated monitor.
So let's begin with some standard wide photos. What we're gonna do is take the same image with night mode off and then night mode on to see if there's really a difference.
For the main camera, both the OnePlus 15 and the Pixel 10 Pro XL have a 50 megapixel lens, while the iPhone 17 Pro Max carries a 48 megapixel sensor, and the Galaxy S25 Ultra has a massive 200 megapixel camera. In this first round, with night mode disabled, the OnePlus heavily overexposes the sky and washes out skin tones, while the Pixel suffers from excessive over-sharpening. As usual, the iPhone pushes warmth to an extreme, but still delivers the most realistic overall atmosphere and sunset colors. The Galaxy produces a generally solid image, though it is unfortunately blurred. With night mode on, the Galaxy completely loses it and turns out an over-sharpened disaster with a heavy magenta tint. The Pixel and the iPhone barely change at all, while the OnePlus shows a massive improvement and, although still not perfect, finally sorts out that blown-out sky. In this next example, starting with night mode off, the Galaxy shot comes out way too dark. It might look authentic at first glance, but it is simply underexposed. The OnePlus once again blows out the sky, while the iPhone nails the nighttime mood with a well-focused image. The Pixel delivers strong dynamic range, but unfortunately that aggressive sharpness takes a lot away from the shot. With night mode on, the iPhone unnecessarily brightens the scene, while the Galaxy stays stuck in near total darkness. The Pixel delivers a similar result, but with better controlled white balance, and this time the OnePlus absolutely nails the shot. So you'll definitely want to keep night mode on when shooting wide night photos with the OnePlus.
Next, we'll move on to a few ultra-wide examples, so we'll be able to capture more of the scenery in the shot. Let's see how they do, and again, night mode off, then on.
The OnePlus and the Galaxy have a 50 megapixel ultra-wide lens, while the iPhone and Pixel come with slightly smaller 48 megapixel sensors. Once again, starting with night mode off, none of them really stand out, but the OnePlus is the only one showing noticeable noise in the sky. The iPhone and the Galaxy deliver fairly dull colors and lack sharpness, while the Pixel, although not perfect, has the most pleasing colors and actually benefits from its over-sharpening in this case. With night mode turned on, the OnePlus barely changes at all and still shows noise in the sky. The Galaxy manages to brighten my face a bit, but the colors remain dull and washed out. This time though, the iPhone actually matches the Pixel's strong performance. However, in this second example with night mode off, the iPhone's result is an absolute disaster. Not sure what went wrong there, but the OnePlus is not any better, and let's be honest, neither shot is actually usable. The Galaxy nails the nighttime atmosphere, while once again, the Pixel delivers the sharpest results that you can actually work with. With night mode on, things do start to improve, but unfortunately the OnePlus is still covered in noise. The iPhone and the Galaxy perform much better, with some differences in white balance, while the Pixel continues to outperform the rest, and although not perfect, delivers the most usable shot.
It's time for zoom, which is always a struggle for smartphones, but let's see how well they can do. We'll start at optical levels and go all the way to the highest.
Here we're faced with a 50 megapixel periscope telephoto on the OnePlus with 3.5 times optical zoom. The iPhone comes with a 48 megapixel periscope telephoto with 4 times optical zoom. The Galaxy has a dual setup, a 10 megapixel telephoto camera with 3 times optical zoom, and a 50 megapixel periscope telephoto cam with 5 times optical zoom. Finally, the Pixel has a 48 megapixel periscope telephoto with 5 times optical zoom. Looking at the optical zoom distances, the Galaxy and the iPhone have a much more controlled white balance, while the Pixel and OnePlus's OnePlus's colors are way off. Once we crank it up to 10 times digital zoom, things go south for everyone. The iPhone and the Galaxy are literally swimming in noise, the Pixel loses a ton of sharpness, while OnePlus's AI algorithms show up to the party. At 20 times zoom, it's a tough one because although the OnePlus is the only one that looks salvageable, it doesn't necessarily look realistic. The AI is heavy, whereas Pixel's photo is by no means great, but it does look far more true to life. Finally, at these maximum distances, most of the photos are just okay, and none of them really look outstanding to say the least. But Google's AI algorithm kicks in and it does produce the most detail, although maybe not the most realistic. So altogether, the OnePlus is the most reliable in these dark conditions. Interestingly, the Pixel lands in second place, leaving the Galaxy and the iPhone to drop all the way to last.
Now let's move on to a few portrait shots in portrait mode, which is one of my personal favorites, but let's see how they handle it in the dark.
With the main lenses at 1x zoom, the Pixel unfortunately falls short due to poor edge detection, which is a classic Google issue. The OnePlus and the Galaxy both do a solid job with edge detection, but the OnePlus struggles with inaccurate skin tones, while Samsung comes out a bit blurry. The iPhone takes the win here with the most realistic looking image. In this next photo, the OnePlus and the Galaxy completely wash out my skin tone and also forget to blur parts of the bush. The Pixel surprisingly handles this better, but still fails at edge detection around my head. The image is pleasing to look at, though the colors are a bit too boosted. The iPhone's shot once again has excellent edge detection and looks the most realistic overall. Moving over to these zoom lenses, the Pixel is the only one not able to use its optical lens when in portrait mode. So we use the maximum digital zoom, which is 3x zoom. Unfortunately, the iPhone really underperforms here with a shot that is super noisy and blurry. The Galaxy is a bit sharper, but what is up with those heavy blue shadows? Funnily enough, the Pixel has really great colors, but that edge detection is still pretty meh. To be honest, OnePlus crushed it here with amazing edge detection and a solid amount of detail. We also wanted to see how these cameras handle different skin tones, so we dragged our colleague Ezzy out of his chair. The Pixel completely failed to figure out the depth of that lamp in the corner, while the others handled it way better. The iPhone has great edge detection, but it made Ezzy look way too orange. For us, the OnePlus and the Galaxy are basically tied. The OnePlus's edge detection is super precise, but it brightened Ezzy's skin a bit too much, whereas the Samsung colors are totally on point, but the image is just super noisy.
Good video quality, it's absolutely crucial to have on your smartphone, even in the dark. But let's see which one of these produces the least amount of noise.
OnePlus and the Galaxy can shoot a maximum of 8K 30 FPS, the iPhone hits 4K 120 FPS, and the Pixel is capped at only 4K 60 FPS, and yes, the Pixel has a video boost to get you into that 8K territory, but the actual processing happens in the cloud, not on your phone. Oh, and just so you know, all videos you're gonna see here are filmed at 4K 30 FPS. To absolutely no one's surprise, the Pixel struggles the most here, giving us flat contrast and colors that look pretty washed out. On the other hand, the OnePlus, Galaxy, and the iPhone actually do a decent job, though the iPhone still manages to squeeze out the most fine detail of the three. In this darker Christmassy scene, the Pixel makes me look even more pale. The other three look fairly similar again, but this time we are actually leaning toward the Galaxy's video because the colors just look way nicer. We also tested out portrait mode. The OnePlus, iPhone, and S25 Ultra can all handle this at 4K 30 FPS, but the Pixel is stuck at a measly 1080p 24 FPS. To be fair, none of these are going to replace a professional cinema camera, but the OnePlus and the Galaxy definitely look the most realistic. The iPhone isn't bad, but it weirdly dropped frames multiple times, which is obviously not great when you want smooth footage. For ultrawide video, we get 4K 60 FPS in the OnePlus, iPhone, Pixel, while the Galaxy can still shoot at 8K 30 FPS with this lens. Quality definitely takes a nosedive here. The Pixel looks super noisy, while the iPhone goes the opposite way and looks way too smoothed out. Plus, the colors are just way too warm. In even darker spots, we were actually surprised by how much detail the Pixel could grab, even if it still looks super desaturated.
Now, who doesn't like a cheeky night selfie? Let's put them to the test and see which one makes me look best.
Here we have a 32 megapixel cam on the OnePlus, 18 megapixels on the iPhone, 12 megapixels on the Galaxy, and 42 megapixels on the Pixel. In this first handheld shot, the iPhone basically blinded, while the Galaxy is just a blurry mess. To make matters worse, the Samsung has the most cramped field of view of the bunch. Both the OnePlus and the Pixel are a step up here. The OnePlus looks way more natural, and the Pixel is definitely sharper, but none of these are going to blow your mind. Now, we took this next shot with all the phones on a tripod. You can see a tiny bit more detail, but the Galaxy is still looking super blue for some reason. It is true that the iPhone is very sharp here, but it feels way too flat and super warm, so we are calling it a three-way tie between it, the OnePlus, and the Pixel. For video with the front camera, we have a maximum of 4K 60 FPS on all four. Alright, all of these videos are dumpster fires. If someone forced us to pick the most usable one, it would probably be the Pixel. Yeah, it is super blurry, but it captures so much more of the scene that you could just slap a filter on it and call it a day. With the other three, you just can't recover any detail from those crushed shadows. Alright, let's wrap this up with a quick summary and see who actually takes home the trophy. Our scoring system is weighted by what matters most, so we give more love to popular categories like the main camera and video, while things like ultrawide and zoom get a smaller slice of the pie. For example, on the main camera, the OnePlus 15 scored 10 general points, and since that category is worth 30%, it walks away with 3 final points. We did the exact same math for every single phone and category. So, looking at the main shooters, we actually have a three-way tie between OnePlus, iPhone, and the Pixel. When we switched to the ultra-wide lens, the Pixel was just way better than everyone else. For portrait mode, OnePlus took the lead, while the Galaxy was the king of video. But if you are all about those nighttime selfies, the Pixel dominated with the front camera. Finally, the zoom category was a solid win for OnePlus. After crunching all those numbers, in last place, we have the Pixel 10 Pro XL. Even though it was the absolute best in ultra-wide and front camera shots, it really underperformed in most of the other areas. The same goes for our third place finisher, the Galaxy S25 Ultra, which was the best on video but still only beat out the Pixel by a tiny 0.15 difference. That means the overall winner of our night comparison is the OnePlus 15. It put up some seriously impressive results in key areas, even though it was ironically the worst of the bunch when it came to the ultra-wide camera. That leaves the iPhone 17 Pro Max in second place. It wasn't necessarily the best in every single category, but its rock-solid consistency across the board earned it that runner-up spot. So there you have it. If you want to snag the clearest shots once the sun goes down, the OnePlus is going to be your best overall bet. But if you want to see if it's also the best phone overall out of these four, you have to go and check out our full review right here. And of course, you can find links to all of these phones in the description below. And before you go argue with strangers on Reddit, don't forget to give us a big thumbs up and hit subscribe, as we're always testing new devices to help you make the best choice. We'll see you in our next video, and until then, take care.